morning and welcome back to the 2022 FERMA Forum. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's evening and met old friends and colleagues, which you may not have seen due to COVID since Berlin. Personally, I must say, it feels good to be back. Even though delayed by 1 year, the FERMA Forum remains what it always has been: the pan-European marketplace for risk and insurance management, the pan-European gathering of risk professionals, and last but not least, the pan-European platform to foster constructive dialogues on emerging risks, innovative risk transfer solutions, and the future of risk management. For many risk managers, the pandemic which we have just gone through has allowed them to demonstrate their capabilities and the value of risk management for organizations in a crisis. This enabled companies to remain resilient and in business. In a time of such great uncertainty, it was satisfying for risk managers to put their skills to use to support their companies and their colleagues. It is not surprising that 90% said the pandemic had made risk management more important to their organization. However, the pandemic was an uncomfortable time for insurance managers who had the duty of explaining to their boards why certain risks, such as non-damage business interruption, were not covered. Since then, the market has reacted by tightening wordings, for example, to specifically exclude claims resulting from infection diseases. Overall, the hard market continues to limit risk transfer capacity and keep up prices. We see a growing concern from risk managers about a protection gap. In the FERMA 2022 Risk Manager Survey, 41% of the respondents said they believe that some of their company's activities or locations will become uninsurable in the future. This finding illustrates our concern about exposures from all risks that can be seen systemic, such natural disasters resulting from climate change. FERMA believes that optimal risk sharing is fundamental to making a successful transition to carbon neutrality, in protecting our organizations and our society against extreme risks in the face of climate change and in the battle against cybercrime. As the representative body of European risk and insurance management, we believe that mitigating systemic and catastrophe risks requires the combined efforts of insureds, insurers, and governments. We have therefore been advocating for the creation of a public-private partnership to build the risk transfer capacity that companies need. Such a public-private partnership should be built on the foundation of state-of-the-art loss prevention and mitigation. Therefore, we are continuing to press for proportionality in the regulation of captives, which we know is especially important in light of the protection gap. Our efforts here are yielding results in the plans for the revision of Solvency II, automatic classification of captive as low-risk enterprises would reduce regulatory complexity and reporting requirements for captives and streamline regulation for national authorities. Then, the second layer of this partnership, the private insurance sector, is essential to make it happen. Its combined financial capacity may not be enough to make up for accumulated losses from a systemic risk event, yet it has intellectual capabilities and expertise in modeling and pricing risks, administrating risk transfer, and handling claims. These cannot be ignored if we are to achieve a more effective and efficient use of governmental support coming from the public side of this partnership. Frankly, I don't feel that all insurers understand this discussion as an opportunity to extend their societal relevance. I wish they would team up with us to lobby for it more often and more strongly. Clearly, Russia's unprovoked and criminal war against the Ukraine and the subsequent energy crisis has preoccupied the European Commission. But we are continuing to press for this European public-private partnership. We know it will not happen quickly, but the participation here at the forum of Mauro Sefcovic, Vice President of the European Commission, and Petra Hilkema, the chair of EIOPA, will help us continue our discussions. They will also give us further insights into the thinking of the Commission and the Parliament on the European imperatives to transition to carbon-neutral economies. License to operate will increasingly depend on whether companies contribute positively to sustainability, or at least mitigate adverse impacts of their activities. Embracing the European sustainability challenge will require a comprehensive understanding of the organization, its strategy, business model, and value chain, and the impacts, risks, and opportunities that it faces. One of the most immediate challenges is the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. It will come into effect for financial reporting periods starting on January 1st, 2024. This is only 15 months away. The directive on corporate sustainability due diligence will follow in a few years. This brings me back to the topic of the protection gap. Companies will be under pressure to show their progress to carbon neutrality. Unfortunately, according to the white paper FERMA published a month ago called Ensuring the Transition, risk and insurance managers are frustrated with the lack of support they are currently getting from the insurance industry. This is not just an issue for individual companies. Lack of sufficient risk transfer will slow investments in innovative technologies as more risks must be carried by the enterprise. Of course, we acknowledge that the insurance industry is grappling with regulatory, business, and legal developments related to climate change. But we urge members of the insurance industry to read this paper and listen to the comments from their corporate customers so they can build a better partnership to facilitate the transition for all of us. We understand that insurance is driven by lost data, but as we transition into carbon neutrality and face new digital risks, previous expertise is an incomplete guide to future risks. Corporate customers want insurers to gain a holistic understanding of their risks and needs, which would give more flexibility to underwriters and engineers to do business beyond rigid guidelines. Risk managers are increasing their data and technical skills to provide risk leadership. We will want to work with you. Today, we are in the early stages of what may be the economic greatest transition of our societies since the Industrial Revolution. It requires many changes from our businesses. Yes, this is going to be demanding, but it's also exciting, and we have a great contribution to make. Closing the protection gap is an important part of that. Therefore, our forum theme, Transitioning Together, is an acknowledgement that sharing knowledge and resources is the way that we make our societies and organizations sustainable in this new period of change. Our second theme is risk leadership in a fast-changing world. Enterprise risk management is the bedrock, the foundation of this work. And risk leadership is our compass to achieving what we want for our greener and digital planet. This is a leadership moment. This is a risk leadership moment. Let's size it. As we now begin our presentations and discussions, I wish that the 2022 FERMA Forum will be recognized in the future as a turning point, when constructive dialogues enabled us to start to close the protection gap and revitalize the fruitful and long-lasting relationship of insurers and insureds, heading towards our joint vision of a sustainable, green, and digital world. Enjoy the challenge and enjoy the 2022 FERMA Forum. Thank you.